Okay, just a few more things on color. The color guide and the swatches panel and the color themes we have dealt with. My library, we've developed a color theme for my library. Now just a couple of other things that we did not discuss. At the bottom of each of the panels there are options that you should be aware of, or other other panels or other references that these bottom options will lead you to. This limits the color group to colors in a swatch library. So if I clicked on that, we could bring up, for example, uses the same base color but uses one of the existing swatch libraries versus creating its own. This is an opportunity by button to access the editing colors. If you bring that up, that will allow you to click and drag to edit both the base color as well as the colors that are established in that group or in the guide. And then this button will save the color group to a swatch panel. So if I choose one of these groups, which with this as the base color, I don't really like any of these, but we should be able to find one. It's let's go with an analogous. These are all based on your color theory that you may or may not have had yet based on where you are in your educational process. But if you've done any painting, you've probably had some color theory, and you know what complementary colors are. They're colors that are on the opposite sides of the color wheel. Complementary to extends that out. I'm not sure if it's probably not a split complement, but maybe on two different sides of the complementary colors on each sides of the color wheel. Left complement, right complement, analogous. Those are the colors that are right next to one another on using, again, this base color as the starting point. Monochromatic, you know what that is? That's just different tints and shades of a particular color. There's the shades and then a triad and so on and so forth. So these all are based on color theory, and I am going to pull up this group, and then if I go here, I should be able to add this to as a new color group. And you'll see in my swatches panel, if I click on that, and then add these colors we hope. All right, and rather than just adding the color group initially, I'm going to toss this because this seems to be an easier way to do that. That would be just to go up here and say to add, save the color group to the swatch panel. And you'll see that you have that entire group saved into the swatches for your easier access. And then let's see what else. Under my library, really the options under your my library or library panel is to sync, and I have my synced disabled, and then it's also to add content. Okay, and one final thing I wanted to show you is with the color themes panel, at the very bottom of the panel you'll see an option to refresh this, which will refresh what color themes that you have saved thus far, as well as you have the option to launch Adobe Color website. So if you click on this, you'll find that this brings you to the Adobe Color CC that allows you to create and save your different themes. So here is one that I was working with, but let's go back out to Adobe Color CC and see if we can get out to the, okay. We are at an analogous color panel based on this being the base color, which is an RGB color. It gives you the formula for the RGB color, as well as the hex number, as well as if you were to use the drop down arrow, you could also see the lab, the HSB, and the CMYK in order to make that particular color, those formulas. It also gives you, based on the analogous color palette, it gives you those images that are right next door to the particular base image, as well as their formulas for RGB, CMYK, and each of the other color models. Now if I were to move this, base color, it will then set up an analogous color guide for that particular, using that particular color as the base. Then if I wanted to try monochromatic, again using this middle color as the base, this gives you a monochromatic color panel, as well as a complementary. There are a number of different ones that you can try. Alright, so if I want to save this particular color, you're going to save it to the library, and let's call this drawing for graphic design. We're going to save it to my library. I'm not going to publish this theme, and we're going to click Save. Now again, I have an account established, and I'm sure you will too if you have rented your Adobe products. But I can publish that, I can edit the images, I can delete them all together, and I should be able to find them in my Adobe Illustrator file under Themes. And see, it's still not adding it. I have two different themes that I've established. Maybe I have to restart it, I'm not sure why, but this is where I would see the themes once they had saved and loaded into my particular account. That's a very cool thing. They've just done so much color with color and color options with Illustrator recently that it's a fun area in Illustrator to work with. So that's it. I'm going to come back and give you your next assignment, project assignment. Look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow.